Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Hello, Nico. Hi, how are you doing? Hello, M0. Hello, Yuavko. You're feeling pretty good? I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Hello, Potter. Hello, Lankuri. Audibly went, holy, and dropped what I was doing to join. Very good. Very good. That's what we like to see. Hello, Hosmod, something stochastic. Hello. I'm finally starting to feel good about work. I no longer have anything that has to be done this second, and I can start to relax. I'm really glad to hear that, Potter. I'm glad. I'm glad. You deserve to rest. Make sure you rest. Very important. Equally important as being actively doing things for productivity. Remember this. Yes, very important. Hello, panoramic cheese. Cheese. Hello, welcome in. How are you doing? And hello, Doc Rex. And hello, Racco. And hello, that red panda. How you doing? For once on time. I mean, you and me both, to be fair. I switched over as soon as I heard the alarm for once, which is quite impressive. Normally I just sit there, like, staring at the wall, contemplating phenomena. I'm doing developmental psychology this week in uni and it's driving me wild, struggling, bad. It basically sums up to kids don't show what they want. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I hated developmental psychology. It was my worst mark in any of my classes ever. It was terrible. And I tried to looking back, I was partially like, okay, maybe it's just because like I'm not really that interested in like children. Like they kind of freak me out a little bit. They don't like talk to you. Maybe it's that. Like you can't have a rational conversation with them. You can't even have an irrational conversation with them. Like it's just chaos. It's pure chaos and I can't cope with it. I was like, maybe that's why I'm not good at developmental. But then I think it's actually just looking back, I think it's also partially the theories because a lot of them are just like very, very like in stages, sequential stages, and that stresses me out. That stresses me out, you know? I'm not convinced about it. And also generally I had some issues in general. Yeah. But that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. We can go into that another time maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I feel that. Kids are strange. You can't talk to them. They do their own thing. It's very, I don't know. They stress me out. Thank you for the follows, Void Baron Jules and Panoramic Cheese. Never seen someone laugh so much at my name. I mean, it's a good name. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, in my head, I was just instantly like, I don't know if you know the one that I mean, but I just instantly thought of like the James May clip where he just slaps down some cheese and says cheese. That's why I was laughing, because I was just thinking about like a panoramic view of lots of James Mays slapping down the cheese and saying cheese. That's how my brain works, apparently. But yes, welcome in, both of you. Welcome into the participant pool. You're too predictable. It's true. I literally reference this meme every single time I interact with like any kind of cheese resembling substance. Seriously. Like I have a problem. I have a problem. Generally, I am a big James May fan. And when that became a meme, I was like, this is now #1 meme. And I wish I was joking. Like the second that I see cheese on a menu, the second that I see cheese in person, even when I'm like making my own like toasties and it's not even real cheese, I'm like, cheese. Every time. My brain just does it. It just does it. I can't stop it. Thank you also for the lab safety registered check-in, panoramic cheese, and also Woodsticks. Hi, how are you doing? Good evening. Good evening to you too. I hope you're good. See, I told you need to put the alarm 5 minutes before. Genuinely, I actually do this. I do, and it works. In fact, actually, there was a period of time where I had like the clock on our oven set to like 5 minutes late, if that makes sense. So like if it's currently 9:21, then I set the thingy to 9:26 so that I would think it was later than it was, so that I wouldn't miss like my trains and stuff. Yeah. And hello, Commodore, how are you doing? How are you doing? Do you freak out children too, or is it one-sided? They stare at me, and sometimes they cry when they stare at me, so probably. I don't know. I don't know. Apparently I have a threatening aura. I'm doing child development right now as a class. I'm sorry to hear that, Lankuri. You can do it. You can do it. I can guarantee you will do better than me, because seriously, I just like tapped out the second that I started. I was like, this is annoying me. I think also because like our introductory lecture, when I was an undergrad, our introductory lecture was about like language acquisition. And first of all, it just like assumed that everybody was acquiring English, which I guess to some extent makes sense. But there was literally like no acknowledgement that there are languages other than English, which was weird. And then like, second of all, it was just like, there was like 5 minutes at the end where they were like, oh yeah, by the way, also some kids learn at a different speed. These stages are just kind of a guideline. And I'm like, well, that's not a very robust theory then, is it? But it's treated like it's gospel, and it annoyed me. Just generally, it annoyed me. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I'm so glad that I found this stream, because I can just go X topic is Y and no one bats an eye. It's so true. I mod for someone who has cheese as a redeem. Incredible. Amazing. We love that. I need that. I need to add that as a sound alert, actually. Maybe we should do that. Tempting. Have you seen the clip where he walks into the cheese warehouse? He's all, so much cheese. I actually haven't, but now I want to. But I'm going to look that up after the stream, because otherwise this will just devolve into a James May rabbit hole, and I'm not sure how much of it would get copyright infringement thingies. So maybe not. I've started a whole cheese rave. So true. Also very satisfying that your name is yellow. These things are, I like this. You went for a vibe and you just ran with it, you know? I appreciate that. Although at the minute, I think Wallace and Gromit has come back again, right? Because they did like a Christmas special. I didn't watch it yet, so please don't tell me anything about it. I literally know nothing about it. But obviously the whole thing is like, oh, cheese, Gromit. Yeah, cheese, innit? And I feel like I've been seeing more of that kind of cheese references recently. So maybe it's also Wallace and Gromit, who knows? Color Maz, so true. We love cohesive color palettes. That makes me happy. I quote the late David Lynch, I love cheese, and I will continue to eat cheese. Refine your threatening aura, it will serve you well. I do actually need to. So true. I need to learn how to just like get people to leave me alone, because I definitely like, I have a threatening aura, but only specifically towards children who are aged like, I don't know, like 0 to 5. After that, then suddenly apparently I have a really like unthreatening aura. Actually, maybe it's older than that. Maybe it's until like 8. Because after that, like basically when they become sentient enough that they can start asking you for directions, that's the point where suddenly my aura swaps to being unthreatening and like entirely approachable. Because like the amount of people that just ask me questions out of nowhere when I'm just wandering around, it's very stressful. Like I'm one of those people where people will just start talking to me in the supermarket and I'll be like, why are you talking to me? I'm confused and scared. And I feel like this is also this has been like heightened. Like it was always kind of like it, but it's been heightened since I've been living in Ireland, because everybody here just talks to everybody anyway. But they especially talk to people that don't look like they're going to argue back or look like they're going to ignore you. And apparently that's the vibe I give. So I think I've just lost all of my London energy, basically. That's what I'm saying. It's very sad. It's the masking. It might be. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe it's my cool aunt energy. Maybe it's that. Or the big sister energy. I can't remember which one we settled on last time. It must be that. When I watched Wallace and Gromit as an American, it was like, cheese isn't that good. But it's more like more like the poorly made processed stuff that is no longer horrible. It's just the good stuff that's way more expensive. I see. See, I think good cheese is the default here. Good cheese is the default here. Because, like, I mean, both Ireland and the UK, to be fair, like, you know, Ireland especially has a very, very big dairy industry. So cheese, like, they do it pretty well here, you know? They do it pretty well. And obviously the UK just straight up has good cheese. Everything I've heard about American cheese gives me, like, I get hives from normal cheese anyway, but it gives me even worse hives, you know? Just hearing about it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Hi, Firezone. Welcome in. Hello from Boston. Hello. Hello. I know nothing about Boston. Apart from there's a lot of universities there, actually. That's all I know. That's all I know about Boston. There's a lot of very good universities there. Yeah. Oh no, you said you're cool, the most uncool thing you can say. That's true. But then isn't cool aren't kind of like semi-ironic though? Isn't it kind of ironic? I don't know. I feel like it's meant to be kind of ironic because like the cool aunt, quote unquote, is the one that tries too hard normally. I don't know. The cool aunt that gives you life advice and has that weird cool hobby, exactly. And largely just leaves you alone. Actually, when I was at university one time, I did actually have a colleague who was like, Psydere, why is it that every time I talk to you, you've just done something really weird and random, but interesting? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And they were like, well, last time I spoke to you, you know, you were just telling me about this random stuff that you were doing. And now you're telling me that you've started up like being an anime girl on the internet. What's up with that? Because I have told some of my colleagues, the ones that I trust. And they were like, I can't do anything anymore. I'm too busy doing work and having a child. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. But then I have one other friend who's kind of the same, who also is just going off and doing random things. But normally they're like more physically active things, to be honest. So I think there's some people, but I don't even feel like I do random things. I just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm quite consistent in my randomness. I don't know. I don't know. Last year, me and a friend took her 3-year-old to Legoland when I was visiting. We went on the Ferris wheel and I was trying not to show my my fear of heights. The 3-year-old asked me why I looked nervous and I told her I'm not very good at heights. She did look me in the eye with the most serious tone I've ever heard. Said to me, well then why did you come on the ride? That wasn't very smart. That's the most 3-year-old thing I've ever heard. That's very, very funny. Oh no. They're too honest. They're too honest when they're young. It's threatening. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe I'm threatened by them and then they pick up on it and then they're threatened by me. Maybe it's like a mutual threatening. I don't know. I don't know. Chat's way better than kids anyway. At least when chat is like saying incomprehensible nonsense, at least I can like try to see the logic, you know? But the child would be like, I want to be a lamppost when I grow up, and I'll be like, okay, good for you. That's not actually physically possible, but you do you. Whatever. I'm not gonna ruin your hobby or whatever. I'm not gonna destroy your life dreams. Hi Astro, how are you doing? How you doing? I hope you're good. These days I wish I had the job stability of a lamppost. Admirable goal. I feel that. I feel that. Oh no. How would that even work? You're a tree. That's true. I did want to be a tree, and then the teachers were like, I'm gonna be funny, and then I'm gonna make you into a tree at like a school play. But I still think that the flame is funnier though. I did literally burn it down the entirety of London. So I don't know how many people can say that. It's a pretty big claim to fame. Hi Danktown Bunny, and also hi Nightmind. Sorry, I think I missed you when you slipped in. Hello Nightmind, how are you doing? I hope you're good. Thank you for the hydrate and for the lab safety register check-in. Thank you. I will have some tea in a second. That kid will become lamppost VT, unironically. Yes. Do we have a lamppost themed VTuber? Yeah. If not, there you go. There's a free concept for you. You can run with it. Do we have a Great Fire of London themed VTuber? If not, I mean, I'm halfway there actually, so, you know, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have some tea now. I've already drunk most of it before we even started, so I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. Where is Big Ben VT? Truly, truly iconic. Okay, hear me out. European VTuber group, but they're all themed after respective landmarks in their country. So like, you know, the English one is Big Ben. The French one is like the Eiffel Tower or something. The German one is like the what's the big gate? The Brandenburg Gate. That one. What do we have? We just have a giant toothpick in Dublin. Like, I'm trying to think. Does the rest of Ireland have anything? Ireland mostly has coastline. I'm trying to think. All I can think about is the giant toothpick in Dublin. I'm genuinely struggling. Giant's Causeway, yeah, that's true. Hexagons are the bestagons. So that would be a very good theme. The Guinness, that's not a place. I guess there's Temple Bar in Dublin as well. That's quite famous. That would be quite funny though. You could really have a concept there because basically Temple Bar is a place in Dublin where like everybody just goes for like bachelor and bachelorette parties. So it's just constantly full of drunk tourists, which is very funny. I feel like you could have a concept there. Oh no. Oh no. Ireland has the Stone of Scone. The what now? Also, hi, look, Dietra, how you doing? The Stone of Scone, is that an actual thing? Also, can I just say, one of the main culture shocks that I had when I moved to Ireland was that the scones here are really big. Like, scones back home are like... The Stone of Scone, that is a thing. Oh wait, that's a Scottish thing. Okay. Is there one in Ireland? No. It's in Scotland. Okay. Well, clearly there would be a... Is it... Oh, it's scun. Scun? Skun? How'd you say that? Skun? This... I struggle. What? It's literally just a rock. I'm so confused. Is it what? It's a rock. Okay. That's okay. I mean, to be fair, Scotland and Ireland have a lot of shared culture between them. So I get things mixed up sometimes too, when it, like, especially when it comes to folklore stuff, to be honest. They're very, very similar. Leprechaun VTuber? Okay, spooky one. First of all, hi. Second of all, that would be interesting to see. However, I must say that Ireland has a lot more interesting fae than just the leprechaun. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. I want a banshee VTuber. I want a banshee VTuber. Like, imagine if it's like you go onto a VTuber stream in the ASMR category and then you click on it and they're just like, ah! Can you imagine? They're just screeching in the background. Pure chaos, exactly. It would be so funny. Hi, Pika, welcome in. Speaking of rocks, did you know Hawaiians use rocks as currency? I did not. That's very interesting, actually. That's very interesting. I did not know that. I don't know anything about Hawaii in general, really, apart from... Well, no, I do literally know nothing. I was about to say my only cultural reference is literally Lilo and Stitch, so yeah. It is on the other side of the world to me, so I think that is fair enough, though, you know? Oh, I know nothing. I'm very culturally constrained to Europe, and even then I'm still pretty constrained even within Europe. Oh dear. I struggle. Wonder each VTuber is one of the 7 wonders. Okay, that's actually a good idea, Danktown Bunny. Or like that's low-key a good idea. That'd be fun. Liverpool VTuber would just be anime Paul McCartney. That is That's kind of a scary concept. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about that. Also, don't be giving them ideas because they're already doing the holograms for like bringing people back from the dead, and I fully expect them to do it to Paul McCartney eventually when he goes. So, you know, don't give them ideas. Like, VTuber's just the next step, really. Yeah. They had a big old rock that was really valuable, and when it sunk to the depths of the sea, people went, I'm gonna pay you with the rock under the sea. Huh. Huh. That's interesting. I mean, fair enough, because you just gotta, like, it's like how other parts of the world use, like, shells and stuff as currency, right? Like, the coinage only really became a thing because, from what I understand, it only really became a thing because basically big chunks of the world were, you know, forcibly entered into the Roman Empire where they used that. So, yeah. Or maybe there was other places that were using it before. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about history. I need to learn more, really. Yes. Liverbirds are just two statues on one of our buildings. One looks into the city and one looks out to the sea. They're basically the symbol of Liverpool. Yeah. Yeah, I've been to Liverpool and I've seen them. And I was like, wow. Cool. And then I wasn't really sure what else to make of it, really. My knowledge of Hawaii is from Pokemon Sun and Moon. That's valid. That's valid. I'm not gonna lie, some of my knowledge of the UK is from British TV shows rather than just living here, you know? Like okay. Like, I know what it's like to actually live in the UK, and I also know what it's like to, like, I know the stereotypes about the UK, you know? I understand both. Not to go geoguesser, but have you seen how far away from the US Hawaii actually is? Yeah, it's really far. It's like really, really far. No wonder it's so expensive to live there. They have to import loads of stuff. All I know about Hawaii is that it's really expensive to live there and that loads of vegans go and live there for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's very strange. Never been to the UK. All I know is that my cousin said not to go to Birmingham. It's so true. Why is this becoming like global knowledge? Don't go to Birmingham. Oh no. Birmingham can't catch a break. They are genuinely like, yeah, Birmingham. Yeah. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. You know, I'm gonna be polite. Not a fan. Not a fan of Birmingham. Does Birmingham deserve a break though? No, they don't. They don't. Okay. Okay, seriously. Okay. So I've been to Birmingham. Here is my opinion of Birmingham. A large chunk of the city centre is just a giant shopping centre. And like, it's really hard to navigate to places that aren't in the giant shopping centre. Like, I couldn't work out where I was going. They did. Wait, did they have trams or was that Nottingham? I forget. Or do they both have trams? Does Birmingham have trams? I can't remember. Wait. Okay, Birmingham does have trams. So that's like the one thing that, like, you know, makes it tolerable, you know? Because trams are good. We like trams. However, that does not make up for the rest of it. Just for clarity, I have a Birmingham postcode. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. Birmingham slander will continue until Birmingham improves. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I gotta say, like, I don't know, I wasn't impressed. But then, like, the people were really, really nice. So that kind of offsets it. But, like, the city itself, not a fan. Not a fan of the place. Lovely people, not a fan of the place. Vegans living on an island with a love of spam is really funny to me. I know, right? I think they go there because, like, it's all the ones that are like rich influencers, right? So they all go there to be like, look at me, I live such a natural life. I go out onto the beach in the sun and I play with my 17 children that I naturally home birthed, and then we eat nothing but fresh fruit and life is good. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Bit weird, to be honest. Don't really understand it personally. I am more of a fan of like eating a wider variety of food. I don't think I could survive on like raw fruit and vegetables, even if you paid me like a lot of money. I would not be able to do it. I like bread too much. It just wouldn't work. I've heard the Brummie accent is one of Britain's finest. It's a very good accent. I'm not gonna lie, I do quite like it. I mean, to be fair though, I can't really think of any accents in the UK that are like really, really bad. Like, I kind of like all of them. There are ones that are incomprehensible, but they're still fun, you know? They're still fun. But like, there's no accents that really like grate on me. I know some people don't, yeah, I know some people don't like some of them, but I like most of them. I've not really met one that I didn't like. Couldn't understand my ex from York. Yeah, Yorkshire accents are really something. I actually find Yorkshire accents pretty easy to understand though, but they do use a lot of like slang and stuff, right? I think the ones that I've struggled the most with were like Highland Scotland. I really struggle with that. Sometimes Norfolk. Sometimes I struggle with Norfolk. Because like, I don't know, yeah, no, I do sometimes struggle with Norfolk because sometimes they're like really, really slow in how they talk, and sometimes they're really, really fast in how they talk. And I struggle. I struggle with both of those. I like people to talk at a kind of like moderate to slightly fast, but not impossible pace. I don't know. The Glaswegian accent was rough. See, I'm actually fine with Glaswegian accents. I like them, and I also find them fairly understandable. But that might just be because I had experience, or how I have experience with some kind of wacky Irish accents. And like they kind of get a bit wacky in the same ways, if that makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. Jokes aside, you say this, I have this thing where if I go to a new city, I try and visit a tabletop gaming store there. That's interesting. I stayed there for a few days in Birmingham for a concert, and one day I left the hotel to walk to a gaming store. After an hour, I was walking and I was still in the city centre. Right? It's literally impossible to navigate Birmingham. It's like, it's such a weird city. The layout is so strange. I don't know. I was there and I was like, where am I actually going? Genuinely, I don't know. Wacky Irish accent isn't a redundant phrase. That's rude. No, okay, I can say that there is one Irish accent that does great on me, okay? One Irish accent that really does great on me, okay? And there's like, it's like this, I can't remember where, but like, it's like this one specific Dublin accent, and it's like, it sounds like a weird combination of like Irish and received pronunciation English, and it really, really, like, I don't know, it really irritates me. And actually also, no, there's a second one. It's like what I call the Zoomer accent, right? So basically loads of like Irish kids here, they've spent too much time on the internet. And like, because Irish accents obviously quite heavily influence certain parts of the US in terms of their accents. So they end up developing like basically like a Boston accent. It's really strange, but it's not a Boston accent because Boston accents are nice, okay? Whatever these kids are doing is not nice. It sounds like an Irish person pretending to be an American. It doesn't sound good. It really, really irritates me. And every time I hear it, like, for some reason also, they manage to magically switch it off the second that I'm teaching them. But then like I'll hear them talking to their friends in this accent, and then like they'll switch it off, and then they'll talk to me in like a normal like whatever accent, and I'm like, what is going on? Can't say I've ever heard anyone call a Boston accent nice, but that's delightful to me for some reason. I like them. I find them fun. Maybe it's because they're like, I don't know. They're like kind of familiar because of the Irish influence, you know? So like for me, they feel very like approachable and friendly, and like the emphasis patterns make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that makes any sense. Also, hi Siri, how are you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're good. And also, hi Corazon, welcome in. How are you doing too? I hope you're good too. No, but seriously, I do actually really like them. I find them really fun. They're one of my favorites, actually. I can say it won't surprise me. The most likely, I'll just be mildly confirming the immense image in my head. Yeah, honestly. They clearly petitioned Parliament as GCSE geography contains Birmingham propaganda. Like, it has to be important. It has important culture and it is a cornerstone of the rail network. Okay, I'm clearly like far away enough from GCSE because I did not have like, okay, well, like, no, I just objectively am far enough away from GCSE. I'm almost like 15 years from it now, but like that. That is very, very funny. I remember when I did GCSE, we had like an entire section that was just about Quorn. And I swear Quorn must have like sponsored this textbook or something. Because like it genuinely, it was like an entire, I want to say like 4 or 5 page case study specifically about Quorn. Like it just really sticks with me because I remember at the time I didn't like Quorn back then. I do now, but I didn't like it back then. And I was like, why? Why? Like they really just like had to pad out the words as well. Like this case study could have been like half a page at the most. No, not corn. Not corn with a C or corn with a K. Not the band. Not the yellow starchy substance. Corn with a Q. Corn with a Q. It's like a meat substitute made out of like fungus. Yeah, Quorn. Yeah, Quorn. But yeah, they had this case study and I was like, well, why? I don't know. I don't know. It was so weird. And like, there's 2 things that stick with me from GCSE geography, and neither of them are anything to do with geography. Okay, one of them is the 5-page case study on Quorn, and the other one is the Yangtze River dolphins, right? And it's not even because like the Yangtze River dolphin, like, okay, I'm interested in cetaceans. Okay, I like them. They're interesting. They're fun. They're cool. They definitely have like better emotional capabilities and social capabilities than we do. They are superior to us in that sense, I think. But again, like a 5-page case study on the Yangtze River dolphins. I don't remember anything about them apart from that, like, that was what was in it. Because my teacher just said Yangtze River dolphins over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, why are you talking about this? I don't understand. But I think it was like a case study about how rapid pollutions and environmental changes can make them basically go extinct, because I think they're extinct now, which is very sad. But I'm going to double check that. Yangtze River dolphin. Yeah. The Baiji. They've got a long nose. They're very cute. Yeah, they're extinct, or probably extinct. Critically endangered. Yeah. Very sad. Because they're cute. They were very cute, which is really sad, you know? They had a long nose. Hi Robert, how you doing? I hope you're good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they went extinct, which is very sad. But they had a very, very long nose, which was very cute. The other ones that I like are porpoises, because they have like no nose and they just kind of look happy, and I kind of vibe with that, you know? Kind of get it. As of like 4 years ago, they still talk about that, but it's less than a page. That's very sad. The rest is Birmingham, Zambia, and specifically that London is the #1 world city. A definitely not real statistic designed to claim that we aren't still the most important. We are definitely not. Don't get me wrong, like London is a very, you know, interconnected city. It's very cool. It's very good, but #1? That's a bold claim. Not convinced on that one, Chief. You know? Not convinced on that one. Yeah. I'm going to London in May. Nice, nice. I hope you enjoy it. It gets a lot of bad press, but I do actually really like London. It's a very good place. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff going on there. Might be able to dig out some food recommendations if you want. Although I've not been there in a while, so I don't know how outdated my food recommendations would be, actually. Maybe ignore me. Maybe ignore me. Maybe ignore me. I think there were a few turtle species too that went extinct. That's very sad. That's very sad. Oh, I don't like it. Birmingham saying they're important to the train industry laughs in the Liverpool to Manchester train line and the rocket engine. I know, right? I know. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I think the argument was that everyone lands in Heathrow to get to New York. Honestly, that feels like 90% of people at Dublin, to be honest. Because, like, Dublin is one of the main, like, places that connects transatlantic flights with the rest of Europe. So you either change in Heathrow or you change in Dublin. Yeah. Dublin Airport's very weird. It's a weird place. I never know how I feel about it. Mostly bad. My claim to fame is that I was at Heathrow on the day where it hit 40 degrees at Heathrow. That's my claim to fame. Yeah. Very small contribution to absolutely nothing. Climate change, I guess. Oh no. The sketchier looking the kebab store, the better it is. That's true, actually. If it doesn't have a 2 hygiene rating, then it's not going to be a good kebab, to be honest. To be honest. How ethical is it to poison every ethics committee member until your unnatural selection experiment is approved? Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out. The other day, I was in a meeting, okay? I was in a meeting with somebody who is my senior. And I was like, we're doing this research. Do we need to go through an ethics committee? Because I think for this one, we might not actually be able to. And they were like, well, obviously ethics is very important. I love ethics. However, I do not love ethics committees. And I was like, yeah, that's a mood. I think it would be very, very unethical to poison the ethics committee members. But if there's a way that you can do your experiment using, I don't know, like secondary data or something, like do your research using secondary data, then you don't need ethics necessarily, depending on what you're doing. Okay? So like if it's an open data set that's been used to do a lot of stuff before, it's still good to like write to an ethics committee and get it double checked. Like, do I need to get this through ethics? But most of the time they'll be like, no, you're all right. It's an existing data set. At least that's my experience. Obviously varies depending on the like area, geographical area. But yeah, that's how it tends to play out here. Go to visit friends who live near Heathrow, end up going past Psydere of Europe. I have pictures of Sonic on the side of the building because I'm a 90s zoomer. I would do that too. I'm not gonna lie. Abracababra. I think Abracababra is a chain, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that it's a chain. Yeah, it's a chain. So Abracababra is pretty good though, apparently. I've never actually been, but yeah, I've heard good things. How ethical is it to use the committee as an experiment without them knowing? Getting it past the committee is part of the experiment. That's a very good thought experiment. I do wonder. I think you would have to. I think if you were going to do research on ethics committees, you would still have to go through an ethics committee that you're not expecting to use as participants in the research, unfortunately. Yeah, you can't get around them that way. You can't big brain them. Yeah. Archival studies, my beloved, so true. They're so good. They're so good. Archival studies, and then like also anything using data that's like public domain. Oh, I love that. I love that. When I can just do my research without having to like, you know, do the whole thing because it's already public domain, so I can use it. Yes, love that. Love that. Same vibe as I do not respect the law, I simply abide by it. So true. I do not need ethics, I simply abide by them. No, you do need ethics, but you must also abide by the ethics committee, you know? I do my research very ethically, thank you very much. Okay? In fact, I do my research too ethically. I've actually been told by my ethics committee, you've provided us too much information, but thank you though. So, you know, yeah, because I preload everything, right? I plan out all of my analysis plans and stuff beforehand because I'm going to pre-register them. So I literally just send them everything. And then they're like, thanks for this, I guess. And I'm like, you're welcome, I guess. You know? Is that malicious compliance? Does that count? Do ethics committee members need some special qualifications for it usually? No, they don't need like special qualifications. They just need to be like, at most institutions, they just need to be like practicing researchers who haven't ever had any kind of like ethics violation issue or, you know, research integrity issue or something like that. I think some institutions, depending on the research, also have like participatory involvement in the sense of like, for example, if you're doing research about autism, then they would also run it by a panel of autistic people and be like, is there anything sus about this? Yeah. I don't know. Aside from that, yeah, I think it's just normally tenured faculty that would do it. Here in Liverpool, the term scran is slang for food, usually food or snacks. So I'm going to the corner shop or Greg's for some scran. There's a cafe near me called Only Scrans. I think I might have seen Only Scrans when I was visiting. Wait, let me check. Let me check. I have a feeling I might have gone past that. I am aware of the term of the term scran. Actually, I am aware of that. I am aware of that. I think I might have either that or I saw something similar in Manchester. One of the two. Yeah. Oh, I must have seen something similar in Manchester. Possibly. I don't know. I've not a clue. It seems like the kind of thing. There's a lot of very funny puns like that in Ireland in general. They love doing names like that. That's very good. That's how it works. You can absolutely do research or investigate ethics committees, but you have to secure ethical oversight approval, which will likely come from a separate independent ethics committee. Yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, an ethics committee is still participants, whether they want to be or not. So, yeah. Yeah. It's quite a conflict of interest for an ethics committee. I mean, in theory, it could be, but a lot of the time, because it's like a random selection of people from the faculty who are on the ethics committee, like you've got a variety of opinions about how ethics committees can and do work, right? So it ends up being that there'll be people that are critical of ethics committees and how they function. Yeah. So in that case, they might actually be quite supportive of the research, you know? Do you want to trade ethics committees? I mean, mine are generally quite chill, but I do have some annoying stories. Everyone does, I think. Like for us, we have like two streams. We have like a full review stream where if you're working with like vulnerable people or in like healthcare or something like that. And then there's like a separate stream for like if you're just doing like desk research or if you're working with undergrads or something like that. And yeah, the first one is generally okay. it can sometimes be a bit nitpicky, but like the turnaround time's okay. The second one, oh, I've heard some stories. I've never had to do it myself because I've never done any work with like vulnerable people, but no, 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 no. I'm not interested in that. Scary. Spent hours talking about research ethics on Wednesday. It's a huge topic and we should always be talking about it more. Absolutely, absolutely. It's so important as well. And I feel like it's an area that like, I don't know, for me personally, when I did like, when I was doing my undergrad and even during my master's actually, the research ethics training that I had was basically just 1 2-hour lecture and that was it. Like there wasn't really extensive like discussions about it, to be honest. It was more just like, as long as you stick by the principles outlined by your respective society, academic society, then there is no problem. Just follow those rules and you'll be fine. But there was no talk about like why we do certain things, which is a bit strange, you know? So I've had to like learn more about that as I've gone through my career. And it's at times been kind of difficult because I feel like ethics is one of like research ethics, it feels to me is one of those things that's very like hidden curriculum / like unspoken norms about how you do stuff. And it's sometimes quite hard to like really engage people in a conversation because half the time it's like, well, why do you do it like that? Oh, because we've always done it like that, you know? I don't know. That's my personal experience, but I might have just not had the right conversations with the right people. I don't know. Yeah. We should definitely be talking about it more. Is it unethical to overwhelm the ethics committee? Well, I hope not, because if it is, then I've committed a violation. Oopsie. Here you go. Here is my 50-page document of literally everything. Enjoy. Hi, Sam. How you doing? I hope you're good. Actually, including a panel of autistic people on a study about autistic people is a big improvement against people on Twitter going WTF later. Yeah, to be honest, it really, really is. It really, really is. There's even recently, there's still been some cases where that happens because like it's quite patchy. It's quite patchy. Like certain areas of research are doing really, really well at starting to include things, and like certain funders are like mandating it and stuff like that. Others, normally it's like people coming from a more like medicine or biology approach on like, you know, they tend to be a bit more medicalizing. It's not really that surprising, is it? It's kind of clues in the name, but yeah. So that ends up with yeah, problems sometimes. There's a Sikh guy in the UK that keeps getting cease and desist notices from supermarkets. The two I remember were Sainsbury's, and then he changed it to Morrison's. That's so funny. I love that. I love that. Don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, our ethics committees, our institutional review boards, are always required to include some non-academic or non-scientist members to be representatives of the broader community. I'm pretty sure that is not a thing here. I've never heard of that. So, yeah. And also, it's like very variable how it works across different institutions, and it's very variable about, it's very variable in terms of like, how it works across career stages, even within those institutions. So, I know of one university where like their approval for graduate, like postgraduate research, like grad students, was literally just their supervisor says they can do it. And that was it. Like there was no actual peer review on it. Oh, and when I found that out, I was like, oh no, that doesn't sound ideal. Because obviously like the advisor probably already knows what they're doing beforehand, but like, or like they'll have some degree of input on it. That doesn't necessarily mean that they've got a full grasp on the ethics issues though. So that was a bit worrying. Yeah. And then on the other end of the spectrum is like the like full review, yeah, which like loops in like loads of public services and stuff. Like if you do, I know in England, if you do research that involves the NHS or the prison service, then you have to go through like an entirely separate ethics review. So you actually have to do 2. You have to do one at the university, and then you have to do a second one through the NHS or the prison service. And I've had to do one of those, and I mean, it was fine. It got approved straight away because it wasn't a problematic study, but doing all of the paperwork for it took 4 months. So yeah, that was painful. But I think that one was reviewed by a panel of like experts by experience. So yeah. Not 100% sure. I've never heard of it in a university though. I hope that that would become a thing in a university because that would be very cool. I remember an account of a doctor talking about his experiences with his hospital ethics committee doing a study. Yeah. I mean, hospitals, I think, are kind of different, right? Because they kind of directly have to protect against harm on the front line in a way, if that makes sense. So I'd imagine they'd be more risk averse. Hi, Chilla Aurora, how you doing? Society bottom text. Exactly. Exactly. We live in an IRB. Pain. There probably is a textbook on research ethics, but I've never been recommended a good one. So, yeah. Why did you do that? It was decreed by the ethics scribes. It came to me in a dream. That feels like half of it. Hi, Catherine. How you doing? The research ethics I learned in my research group is that you have to submit to the conference session that is chaired by your collaborators and best buddies so that you have 100% chance to get a talk and not a poster. Oh no, I can imagine. No. Oh, that bothers me. Yeah. I think it's kind of like a hidden rule that like certain conferences do have a very strong degree of buddies helping each other out, you know? And also certain journals can sometimes be like that, so I've heard. Thankfully, the ones that I've been involved in don't seem to be that much like that, you know? Sounds like a conflict of interest. Yeah, that was my first thinking. Oh, hello. Hello. Hi, Raiders. Hello, how are you doing? Hello, Aiko, and also Platis. Wait, let me give you a shout out. Thank you for the raid. Hi, welcome in, Raiders. Hello, how are you doing? I'm Psydere. I'm a research psychologist. That's my job. I do that in real life as well as also on the internet, being an anime girl. Yeah, that's me. Hi. Welcome in. We're just yapping about science today. I'm going to answer some questions. There's a thingy if you want to ask some questions. I might answer them eventually, but we're just kind of yapping right now. Welcome in. Hello, Mentalist. Hello. Oh, hi, Zerkia. Hello. Hello, Enning. Hello, Norman. Hello, Light Knight. How are you? I hope you're all good. Yeah. Everyone, if you don't already follow Overlord Aiko, please absolutely do. She's a AI VTuber. Cutest thing ever. Like, as in, like, literally, like, I feel cuteness aggression every time I see any like Aiko stream or VOD or clip. Like, it makes me feel aggressive, you know? But yeah, welcome in, everybody. I hope you're all good. And Platis, I don't know if you're like lurking or what. But yeah, if you're around, hi. If you need to, you know, get up and do some stretches and wander around and stuff, feel free to. And thank you so much for the raid. She feels assertive. I'm very assertive in terms of I'm gonna research you. Yeah. Get ready to be researched. If you click that follow button, you are now in the participation pool and you will have to be researched. I'm sorry. Enning, you've already opted in. I haven't told anyone how to withdraw, so, you know. Oh gosh, hello.
__ Jane gifted a tier 1 sub to Penguin.
Thank you so much, Just Jane, for the 5 gifted. Goodness gracious, and for the hype train. Thank you so much. And also, hi, I hope you're good. I'm really sorry. That's going to be like making a demonic ara noise for the next like few minutes. I That's going to be
Just
really distracting. I apologize
Jane
profusely.
gifted a tier 1 sub to Seb _______________________
There are lots of ethics textbooks, and there are journals dedicated to publishing manuscripts about
Just
research ethics.
Jane gifted
They're
a
not
tier 1
typically
sub to
incorporated into broader scientific training, even especially at the graduate level. Yeah, that was my experience too. Was that they all exist, but like largely it's
just _____
sorry, that
Jane
is very
gifted a
distracting,
tier 1
isn't it?
sub to
But there's
Mikasha.
just lots of like what's the word? Like yeah, it's lots of ethicists and philosophers kind of talk, and you know, scientists talking to each other about this stuff. And then like they don't actually end up teaching their students adequately, which is a shame. It's a real shame. You have to be interested to really start to dig into it. Yeah. There's been lots of really weird ethics stuff happening in the last few years as well, which is quite funny, you know. There's been certainly some things. I remember there was this one paper. I keep meaning to like make a short or something about this paper. It was very, very stressful. Basically this guy did like how can I describe this? Autoethnographic research into inappropriate material of the Shota variety. And it got published, and only afterwards it went through peer review, and only afterwards were people like, hang on a second, this might be ethically problematic. So that was a thing. Yeah. That was a thing. And thank you for the follow, Mentalist. Welcome in. You're also now part of the research participation pool. I hope you're ready to be experimented upon, but in a friendly and ethical way, I swear. I swear. We talking about ethics? We certainly are, Yurafko. We certainly are. The only way to convince the ethics committee is the only way to leave is to convince the ethics committee that you Oh no. Oh no. Oh, what's your assessment of the yandere personality? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I'm thinking. I think that yanderes, obviously it's a trope, right? It's a trope. The thing with media tropes is that often the way, so there must be some kind of underlying truth to it, right? That's the first thing I'm going to say. But like with media tropes, they're generally something real, but like massively exaggerated, if that makes sense. So it's something that you can observe in just like in the real world, but the media exaggerates it. And I think that's kind of the case with yandere in general. How can I put this? I'm thinking. So there's like, people can have different attachments in the sense of like, you know, they can like form attachments with people in different ways. And there are like different types of attachments. I said I hate developmental psychology, and I'm now talking about it, classic. But there's like different ways that people can be attached to another person, like in a relationship. It doesn't have to be like a romantic one. That's normally what we think of. But, you know, it can be like a caregiving relationship. It can be like a friendship. It can be literally anything. Any kind of social connection. With yanderes, they probably map onto what we'd call a disorganized attachment style. So basically, disorganized attachment style is just like very, very intense. So there's like, in terms of the different attachment styles, there's like secure attachment, which is like what you would kind of typically expect, which is that people can just like communicate with each other and they actively want to be, you know, in social relationships, and they can talk through their problems and they just kind of like vibe, you know? Then there's like, I can't remember what they're called. I always get them mixed up. But there's one that's anxious in the sense of like being overly attached. So like they get really, really anxious when there's ever a sign of you like leaving. There's another type where they're insecure about their relationships, so they avoid them. So like they kind of keep their distance, if that makes sense. Like they don't really want to be in relationships, and when they are in a relationship, they're quite aloof, and it's quite hard to connect with them. And then there's the disorganized one, and they tend to be just very intense, very, very, very intense. So a yandere would probably be closest to the disorganized one because they're the most likely ones to have very, very strong emotional reactions to anything, literally anything. Like could be good, could be bad. Yeah. The Wikipedia page for is attachment theory for this topic. Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed. Does yandere make it difficult to maintain friendships or relationships? I don't know. I would imagine so. Like, I would imagine it's quite difficult. Because, like, you know, with yanderes, so the whole thing about a yandere is that they get very, very attached. But then, like, when there's some kind of threat to the relationship, rather than, like, resolving it or working through it together, they become very aggressive, right? You know, like the kind of like jokey, murderous girlfriend thing. Yeah. I know how can I phrase this? On the one hand, that like there are some people that would probably they get jealous easily. Yeah, exactly. So like they push. I think there would be a mixed response. Either for some people, they would really, really just be pushed away by it. And for other people, I think they would get really, really sucked into it. So, to be honest, like yandere, like let's be honest, in the real world, that pattern of behavior is problematic at best, potentially abusive at worst. So yeah. Yeah, strong chance that either the partner would be pushed away or they would be pulled in even more, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. That's my thinking. Seems like the yan refers to any kind of mental instability. Could well be, yeah. Hi! Hello, Chatterpillars. How are you doing? Hi, Anto. How are you doing? Wait, let me give you a shout out. There we go. Shout out Enter Molomoth. There you go. Shout out to Enter Molomoth. If you don't already follow Enter Molomoth, what are you doing? They make such excellent educational content about bugs. Don't you want cool bug facts in your life? Everybody wants cool bug facts, so why aren't you following Moth? What's going on? Follow them right now. Hi, Moth. How are you doing? We love bugs. Yes. How are you doing? I hope you're good. How was your stream? I hope you're doing okay. What were you up to? And also, I just realized I didn't say who I am. Hi, I'm Psydere. I'm a research psychologist, and I become an anime girl on the internet and then talk about research and psychology and science and stuff. And I'm kind of we're relatively on topic today, right? We've talked about research ethics and yanderes, so that's fairly on topic. Also, hi Vladis, how you doing? Hi. Sorry about the account verification. I'm very cybersecurity paranoid, so but I hope you're good. And yeah, I hope you're good too. How are you doing? Bugs are great, right? Bug facts? Exactly. I'm doing great. Played some Monster Hunter Wilds beta because it's out until Monday. Very nice. I hope the stream went well. Yeah, if you need to, get up and wander around, it's quite late where you are, isn't it? So yeah, if you need to get up, go to sleep, eat food, whatever, please absolutely do. Otherwise, of course, you are always welcome to vibe or to lurk or whatever. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for bringing the Chatterpillars. They're so cute. Look at them. They're all chatterpillaring. Have you heard that song that's like a song that plays when you encounter a caterpillar? That's what I think. If I had a way to set up like custom music when people raided in, I would absolutely set that up as the caterpillar raid sound. I'm just saying. Ignoring the Birmingham side tangent. Look, Birmingham has 2 universities as far as I'm aware. So therefore, this is still relevant to academia in the UK. So therefore, it's not a tangent. The University of Birmingham seems nice enough. It seems nice enough. It seems nice enough. That's all I got to say. But too bad about the city that it's in. Can you send me it? Let me find it. A song when you encounter a caterpillar. Yeah, there we go. This is the one. A song that plays when you encounter a caterpillar. There it is. It's such a banger. I literally listen to this like on repeat consistently. It's so bad. I love this. It's so good. I dislike that the yandere trope for the mentally ill with violent. Yeah, me too. I really don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because it's just not true. Like, most people with a disorganized attachment style are not in any way, shape, or form violent. They're just a bit intense. So like the kind of like classic, like if we're so okay, wait, hang on. So attachment styles aren't inherently clinical. Okay, they're just like a descriptive label to, you know, applied to a set of patterns. But if you were to associate a clinical diagnosis with that attachment style, like, you know, if the attachment style is like to the point where it is causing impact on their life and it becomes like in need of clinical intervention, then the closest thing would be borderline personality disorder. And I kind of see that matching up with yanderes, because yanderes are kind of like the stereotype of what BPD, what people think BPD is, rather than what BPD actually is, which is just being very, very intense. Because like a lot of people think like people living with mental health problems are like, you know, threatening, especially when it's stuff like BPD or like psychosis, things like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I've worked with people with those kind of conditions, and sometimes it can be scary, but they're not like, just because they're expressing themselves in a particular way doesn't mean that they are actually being violent, or they're actually being aggressive, or they have any actual like ill intentions. On top of that, when there is any kind of clinical difficulty going on there and there is like aggressive tendencies, overwhelmingly it's directed towards themselves. So yeah, the whole thing of that is just that stereotype really irritates me. I've been to some bad universities. Yeah, me too, Planet. I've certainly been to some universities that feel like they're stretching the definition of university. Or like, I've been to some that have really, really, really nice buildings, and then like the environment around them is just like, nah. Bad university stories. I probably do have some. However, my worst university story is nothing to do with the campus, nothing to do with the people, nothing to do with the academic work environment, okay? My bad university story. I went to a conference in a university. I will not name which one. And they had like, you know, like the stuff in the break, you know, they give you like coffee and stuff, cakes and things in the break. It's not Cornell. It's not Cornell. I've never left Europe, so it's not Cornell. But I went to a conference at this university. They had some nice cakes and stuff out, and they had a sign by one of the platters of cakes, and it said, "These cakes are vegan." And I was like, oh, cool. I've got like a cow's milk allergy, so I can eat those. So I went over and I double checked. I was like, so these ones say that they're vegan. So are they okay for cow's milk allergy? And they were like, yeah, they're fine. And I was like, okay, cool, amazing. I was a greedy little sausage. I'd just done a talk. It was a very, very stressful talk. It had been to a room of like, I don't know, like, it wasn't a big room. It was maybe like 10, 15 people, but the people that were in there were like, they were high caliber, and it was quite distressing. I was at this conference on my own. I didn't know anybody. It was very stressful. Yeah. I took away these cakes, ate the cakes. About, I don't know, 5 minutes later, I started feeling itchy. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's weird. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get some more coffee, because I'm starting to feel like tired and I don't know what's going on. It might just be the come down from doing the talk. So I go back to the coffee and cake stall, and I see that the sign for the vegan cakes has moved. And I'm like, oh no. Because it's moved next to a new platter of cakes that are all individually wrapped. And I'm like, oh no, this is a bad sign. I spoke to the catering staff and I was like, you told me these ones were dairy free, and I ate 2 of them. I have got a cow's milk allergy. Have I eaten the wrong ones? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, no, you are the catering people. You need to know. Please tell me. And they were like, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. You might have done. If you did, that's a you problem, basically. And I was like, okay, I might die, actually. And I am not joking. This caterer turned around to me and went, you won't die. You're in the UK. The healthcare is good here. You'll be fine. And I was like, okay. So then I did it. I can't believe I did it. I went and found their manager. And I was like, hello, am I gonna die? And they were like, yeah, you actually might. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home now and go and find my medication. And then I went and was very, very ill. So that was my bad university story. Aside from that, they've largely been okay. There was also that time that I was given literally just a banana for my whole day of lunch. So that wasn't great, but you know, it's not as bad as like almost dying. Yeah. It's not Cornell, it's Cornell. Exactly. I like your thinking, Nightmind. That if I ever set up a university, I'm gonna call it that. Also, I'm not being funny, but also we should sell that idea to Quorn and be like, you've got an excellent marketing opportunity here. I live in a shared house near my university and it got shot at. What? Huh? That's terrifying. Are you safe? Oh my gosh. I had like a massive car accident literally right outside of my room when I was in a shared house. Like, as in, and then like people were like fighting in the street and stuff. But I can't say we ever got shot at. That's definitely that's definitely a thing. Okay. Yeah, that is terrifying. Could you help me map the id and the ego and the rest? I've had it hard remembering them. I'm afraid I actually cannot because I know nothing about like psychodynamic anything. That's not my kind of psychology. I'm like a social psychologist, I'm a social psychologist, but like my research is in what's the word? Like meta science. So I basically research the psychology of scientists and like how people think about science. So if it's not in that kind of like general sphere, then I only really have like a surface level understanding of it. And I've actually just never read Freud, and I probably should at some point. You're lactose intolerant? I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm fine with lactose. I've got an actual cow's milk allergy. Yeah, so like the protein. Yeah. It's not fun. Not fun. The battery acid cupcake. I almost forgot. Thank you, Seon. Thank you. I do have a battery acid cupcake story to tell. Let me find this. Wait. I need to find the battery acid cupcakes because this is more impactful if I show you the photo. Where are they? Okay. Now you may be thinking, what are you talking about? Battery acid cupcake? That doesn't sound good. That sounds vaguely threatening. No, that was not the battery acid cupcake incident. The battery acid cupcake incident is something else. I've got a friend who has a YouTube channel called Roots. If they ever appear in chat, they've got VIP. They were here. They were present for the battery acid cupcake incident. Okay? Right. So, is this the right thing? Yes, okay. Right. Please tell me, what do you think about these cakes? What do you think about these cupcakes? Okay? What do you think? Rate these cupcakes. Rate these cupcakes. Do they look satisfying? Do they look aesthetically pleasing? Tell me your opinions on the cupcakes. 10 out of 10? Might be tasty? Okay. Right. They look good? Okay. That's excellent. So, they look great, thank you. Looks like they don't have battery acid in them, exactly. Okay. So, time to submit to MRS art competition. So, okay. Okay, these cupcakes. So, for anyone that doesn't know, I may be a scientist, but that doesn't mean that I can like make it work in other areas, right? I'm like, I can't do other things. And one of the running memes is that I can't cook, okay? I can't cook. Remember this, okay? These cupcakes, I made these, okay? I made these cupcakes. So, the story behind this is me and my friends, we went to this like barbecue. And we went to this barbecue and we were like, okay, what can we bring? So everyone like brought something. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to bring something that I can actually eat myself, right? So I found a recipe for making vegan cupcakes, okay? So these are vegan cupcakes, right? And like, I was really proud of these, okay? I spent literally like 2 days getting everything ready, working out how I was going to decorate them, having like toppings and stuff. Like there's multiple different types of toppings here. So there's like, there were chocolate cupcakes. The cake was chocolate. And then the icing is like, some of it's chocolate, some of it's vanilla. I don't know if you can see like the one at the back is like a mixture of both. Some of them have got these little balls on top, which are like brownie balls. So they're like, yeah, little balls of like brownie that have been wrapped in chocolate. And then some of them are like vanilla icing that's been dipped into like sprinkles. Okay. I was very proud of these. I spent a long time making them. So I look at them. I'm proud of them. They look lovely. I box them up. What's the icing? Just sugar and oil and Yeah, no, it was literally just like vegan butter icing. So it was just like vegan butter and icing sugar and flavoring. Yeah. But like I made it. Okay. The only thing that I didn't make is obviously like the sprinkles and then like the little brownie balls. I bought them, but they were expensive. They were bougie brownie balls. Okay. So I was very proud of this. You know, they're vegan. Everyone there can eat them because a few people are going to be vegan. I'm really proud of them. Okay. I made one fatal mistake. Did you taste test them? I did not. That was my fatal mistake. I did not taste test them. Okay. So the recipe that I'd done, they were meant to be like chocolate and cola, okay? And basically I was like, I'd made pretty much everything. The last thing that I was doing was baking, like, you know, I was like baking the actual cake. I had all of the ingredients ready. And I was going through and I realized that someone like in the house had drank my cola that I needed for this thing. So I'm like, oh no, I need to go out and like get a can of cola like quickly. But I think it was like 10 p.m. on a Friday. So like the normal places that I would go were shut basically. Or it might have been like a bank holiday or something. So, but yeah, I remember like the big supermarket that I would normally go to was shut. Even though it should have been normally open, it was shut for some reason. So I was like, okay, that's fine. There's a little shop around the corner, like a corner shop, which is like the UK equivalent of a convenience store. They're normally like family run. They might be like a franchise thing. They're very small. Often you will find kind of sussy things in there. So, for example, it's quite common to find like multi-pack drinks being sold individually, and it will literally say on the can, like, not to be sold, do not resale, and they sell it anyway. Yeah. So I went to this little shop. I knew the family that have run it. You know, they've been running this shop in the area for literally like 20 years. They've known me since I was a kid. So I'm like, there's no way that anything that they sell is going to be sus. They've never let me down. I go in, I like find like a single can, like 2 cans of cola. I just grab them and then I pay and then we go. Okay. And then I go back and I follow the recipe with this cola and I do the thing. Okay. Now, I also didn't taste test the cola because I don't actually like cola. I think it's fine when it's in like a cake like this, for example. But when it's on its own, I don't drink it. I don't like it. It just tastes bad. Just regular Coca-Cola. Yeah, it was just regular Coca-Cola. But yeah. Didn't taste test the batter. Didn't taste test the drinks. Okay. So I pack up these brownies the next day. I go off to the barbecue. And like the first one I offer is to my friend Roots. And I say to them, like, you know, I'm really proud of these brownies. I hope you like them. And they're like, oh, they look amazing. You've done such a good job, Psydere. And I'm like, thank you so much. I'm really, really proud of them. And then they take a bite. And literally, like, I've never seen somebody go from happy to, oh God, what is happening so quickly. Okay? Like their face, I can't describe their face. And then they say to our other friend, like, hey, please try one of these. Please, like you can have the other half of this one that I've just bitten into. Please just try it, okay? And they're like, okay, and they do the same thing, and I'm like, I watch exactly the same reaction, and I'm like, what's going on here? What have you done? And they're like, Psydere, please just try. Just the icing's great. The brownie ball, great. The toppings, they're all great. Please just try a little bit of the actual cake, okay? And I'm like, okay. And then I try it, and at first, it's nice. You know, it tastes like chocolate and cola. And then something happens. It's like the worst thing I've ever tasted. These cakes were acidic. I am not joking. These cakes had like a pH of like 0.2, okay? They're, like, it was cursed. It felt like it didn't even, it tasted like it was chocolate and cola, but with like, it was like 2% chocolate, 2% vinegar, 2% cola, and then just like the rest of it was just pure vinegar or something. It was horrid. It was disgusting. Genuinely, I am not joking when I say battery acid cakes. It tasted like how I imagine battery acid tasting. And I'm like, what is this? I worked so hard. What has happened with these cakes? So then we go around and then we like spend the rest of the day basically pranking people. Who we knew would be fine with it. We were like, hey, we've got cakes, aren't they so cute? Don't you try one? And everyone would have exactly the same reaction, and everyone would be like, what is wrong with these cakes? This is so cursed. That evening I go home and I check on the I check on the can, okay? And the can, I don't know what was going on, but it was like, I feel really bad for this. It was like 2 years out of date. And like they had just sold it. Okay. And like obviously cola that's 2 years out of date, it's not really dangerous because like it's been, well, it shouldn't be. If the can's not expanded, then it's not dangerous, okay? At least as far as I understand it. And nobody had enough to get sick anyway, and nobody did get sick. Like I went back and confirmed nobody got sick, okay? But yeah, this cola can was two years out of date. And like it had just like, I guess all of the nice flavor had just gone and it had just turned into pure acid, because I found out subsequently that apparently Coca-Cola has a pH of like 1. So yeah. That was not great. So that's the story of the battery acid cakes. And I think the fact that they looked so nice and I was genuinely really, really proud of them made it worse, you know? Like I spent so much time on these. But like the weirdest thing is that everybody hated them. But then I found one person who was like, actually, I kind of like the battery acid aftertaste. And I was like, what? And then they took away the rest of the box and then they ate them. So yeah. So I guess it's true. You know, there's something out there for everyone. It might have dissolved some aluminium. I actually wonder whether it was that actually. Yeah. It could well have been, because like there was just, yeah, it was like acidic and metallic. It was really, really horrid. But like it was just the fact that like when you bit into it, even if it was just the cake bit, because like we taste tested this, right? Because obviously, you know, I was like, science, we need to work out like at what ratio is this cake edible. So we tried to, and like the answer is none. There was no ratio at which it was edible, because no matter how much icing or whatever was on it, even though if there was no icing, it would start off for like 5 seconds being a really, really nice chocolate cola cake, and then it would just suddenly change. It was really weird. Really weird. Heavy metal. Oh no. Just single-handedly giving everybody lead poisoning. No, it was fine. Like I said, nobody got sick. I checked because I was really paranoid that everyone was going to get sick. But yeah, that's the story of the battery acid cakes. As someone who's tasted both Psydere cupcakes and battery acid can confirm battery acid is better. What? I want to try. Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh no. I mean, I can always make them again. I know the recipe, so I can make this again. And you know, this can become my signature dish. Hi Bushy, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day today. I am, thank you, I am. Been busy with the studies. Unfortunately, I must report that Anela's response was not as I hoped. It was simply, how dare you do this to me? That's so cute. I hope you're good, Bushy. I hope your studies are going well. That's such a cute reaction that Anela had. Good lessons for bakers here. Taste your finished cakes or cookies. Taste your liquid ingredients and check the use by dates and storage conditions. Absolutely. Honestly, the corner shop did me day. Honestly, I never bought anything from there again because, yeah, that's not the first. Well, it wasn't the last time that a corner shop in general has made that happen. Because that's also happened to me since I've been here in Ireland. There was this one time where I went to go buy some bread at a corner shop and then I looked at it and it was moldy. Actually, that's also happened at other shops too. So this is clearly just a thing. Yeah. Basically, don't trust corner shops. Don't trust convenience stores in the UK and Ireland. They're all sus. They may or may not sell you moldy things. Yeah. Not ideal. Not ideal. I absolutely love the scientists going for experiments with the battery acid cakes. Hey, this tastes terrible. Let's see how terrible. Well, it was an experience that none of us had ever had before, you know? So we had to make the most of it. We had to understand what was going on there. Serve them at your defense. That's actually a good idea. I should do that. That's very funny. I feel like what I should do is I should have 2 versions of the same cupcakes. Okay. So I'll have let me put this away actually now. I'll put this away now. There you go. We'll put the battery acid cakes away. I should have 2 versions that look exactly the same. And then some are battery acid and some are normal. And if they pass me, then I'll give them the battery acid. No, if they pass me, I'll give them the normal. If they fail me, I'll give them the battery acid. And if they give me corrections, it will be a Russian roulette. A cake roulette. Oh no. I remember the susness of corner shops too, unless it's a big chain. Honestly, even the big chains, I've had bad experiences with even the chains, which is not good. Yeah. The one that I relied on for this was a little family one. But the other one that I've had bad experiences with is a big chain. So yeah, not ideal. Gonna go to work. Take care, Psyduckies. You take care, Night Mind. Good luck with your shift. I hope it goes well and thank you for joining us. Wait, actually, if you can stay for Be Mindful before that, then I will do that. Because I need to do Be Mindful because Dead Hyperspace redeemed it 16 minutes ago and I forgot to do it because I got on the tangent about battery acid cakes. They were so bad. They were so bad. And I don't understand that one person who said that they liked them. That was just an experience, to be honest. Hi Jake Straw, hi! How you doing? One time I discovered my grandma had been using a can of cooking spray that was 12 years past its best date. I can one-up that. Once I cleared out my grandparents' pantry and I found a can of sardines that went off in 1950s. Yeah. 1950s sardines, yummy. They were actually so old that they didn't even have a best before date on them. But I knew it was the 1950s because of the there was copyright information or something on it and it said copyright whatever, the trademark 1950. It was yeah. Try surströmming? No. I'm not interested in that. Thank you very much. That's like pickled herring, right? No, thank you. I'm not interested. I've had other forms of pickled herring and I must say that it is not my thing. Okay. Right, so mindfulness. We've got a mindfulness redeem. Today's mindfulness is a ritual. So today's mindfulness thing is a ritual. Okay. And the ritual is... Okay, this is an interesting one because it does assume that you have access to certain resources, but we're going to roll with it anyway, okay? Right. Plant a bulb in a pot in your home. Nurture it over the coming weeks until it blossoms. Follow its developments as a symbol of your personal growth. There you go. That's very cute. So our ritual is to grow a plant from seeds. If you don't have access to a bulb, you can literally do what I do, which is just randomly grow the seeds out of vegetables. Peppers are my favorite. They're very good for it. They just don't stop. Peppers grow so easily. Can you use a normal onion? I've never grown an onion, so I don't actually know. I would imagine so. Yeah. 100% chance of Botox with that can. Yeah. I do wonder, like, what outlawed substances are in those horribly outdated cans. I do wonder. I actually was going to ask, I know Ayla can't come to streams because of the time zone differences, but would it be okay to if I reach out to her about the Discord? I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I also want Ayla to keep up with everything when she has the chance. Yes. Could you put a message in the Discord about it so that I don't forget? Thank you. Have you tried making the recipe again? The battery acid cupcakes? No. I'm too scared. Yeah. We found the battery acid gourmet. Even at 5k once in 3 days, you still manage a backlog. Do I have a backlog? Do we need to do another one? I'm suffering. Oh no. So we're going to grow a plant. There's also a reflection. Okay, we'll do the reflection as well. Okay. Plant a carrot. Do carrots grow easy? I've never grown a carrot either. Honestly, like, I've only ever grown stuff from seeds. So, like, tomatoes, peppers, avocado. I've never got an avocado past the, like, rooting stage, though, because my problem is that, like, I forget about things. Like, I've got a very bad, like, time perception. Very, very bad time perception. So, basically, I'll be like, oh, I watered that plant 2 days ago, and it's actually been, like, 2 months. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You can go. I'm sorry. We've done the mindfulness. Okay, I'll save this for next time. Remind me next time and we'll do it next time, okay? But yeah, that was the mindfulness, is to grow a plant. Found a can of mackerel in a pantry with a best before date of 1978, but I think sardines from the 50s was... Yeah, sardines from the 50s was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty intense. And then the worst part is that I was like, can I bin these? And they were like, no, we're keeping them. They might be worth something now. I was like, they're definitely not, unless you want to give them to a museum. And even then, I think a museum would be like, I'm all right, thanks. Take care. You take care too, Nightmind. Thank you for joining us. And I hope your shift goes well. Cress is super simple to grow from seeds. I used to do it when I was younger. Yes, I used to do that too. Yeah, because you can just put it on like kitchen roll, right? I remember like when I was in school, in primary school, we'd always have to do like a quote unquote experiment where it wasn't an experiment, it was a demonstration. Sorry, that was the most nitpicky thing I've ever said. I'm so sorry. It wasn't an experiment. It was actually a demonstration because there was no manipulation of a variable. So therefore it wasn't an experiment. Okay. But yeah, we'd have to do this thing where we would just grow cress. Like that was it. It would just grow the cress. That was literally it. There was nothing else. But like each year we'd do it in a different thing. And this is the thing that annoyed me because I would love to have done this like all in 1 year so that we could compare the results. Even then I would have been like that. But no, I actively was because I asked if we could. But they said no. So 1 year we did it like on kitchen roll. 1 year we did it in soil. 1 year we did it in an egg. And we made like you'd draw a face on the egg and then it'd grow hair. And the hair was the cress. That was a thing that we did. Yeah. I can't remember what we did the last one. It might have been cardboard or something. Can't remember. Yeah. I like you being precise. I like defining everything to understand it. Yeah, right? Like, okay, this is something that annoys me about social psychology in general, okay? This is me now complaining about my own field. Like, social psychologists do this thing where, like, not always, but, like, there is the way that certain people, not certain people, because that makes it sound like there's a them problem. This is a systemic problem that only affects people trained in certain ways, if that makes sense, okay? But, like, there's this issue where sometimes they will just, like, talk about a thing and they'll just never define it. Or, like, they'll be like, this has been defined like this in a previous paper. However, I am going to define it like this instead. And I'm like, but if there's a definition, why are you changing the definition? So basically nobody can ever agree on the definition of anything in social psychology, and it makes it really painful. Yeah. It hurts me. We did the same crest experiments like 4 times across primary school, with each time doing one in a cupboard, one on a windowsill, and then those 2 with and without water. I do not remember ever getting the results from the crest. Right? I think it's more just to like teach you how to set up like an experiment generally, right? Just like the vague concept of like, we are growing seeds from the same packet, but varying one specific thing. You know, they've got the same growth medium, but we're changing how, and same amount of water, but we're changing how much light they get. So like, I get it, but yeah. I also wanted the results, and I also vaguely remember never actually getting results and asking my teacher what were the results, and then yeah, they were like, the answer is that they grew. Go away now. I was like, okay. Oh no. Oh my gosh, that is terrible for the field. Yeah, I don't know if this is like actually like like a problem that's been properly recognized. It probably has been, because like the general rule is that if there is a problematic thing happening in social psychology, there's definitely at least 7 perspective papers about it, you know? Or like commentary pieces or something. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great. And like sometimes you'll see definitions that like you'll see people making up new constructs that like kind of overlap with existing things as well, just for the sake of it. And I'm kind of sat there like, why are you doing that? Like that's giving me pain. Yeah, but there's like, I mean, like for example, in what I researched, there's like, oh, maybe like 15 competing definitions for conspiracy theories or like conspiracy theory beliefs. And yeah, nobody can agree on what that means. So you kind of just have to roll with what you've got. Conspiracy theories actually does have like some set definitions now. So there's like actual papers hashing out the definitions of things, which is pretty cool. I think I can think of 2 off the top of my head. But even then, like the definitions for those were fairly close together, if that makes sense. But like there's others, like I know in misinformation, this is a whole thing of like, how do we define what isn't misinformation? Like, what if we think something is misinformation and then it turns out not to be? And what if it's like, who gets to decide that it is misinformation? Like, yeah. Because the kind of standard thing is that like, oh, it's misinformation if it's like false information, but then it's like, who gets to decide that it's false, you know? There's a whole layer of like power dynamics going on just purely in the definition. And then that creates a lot of debates and drama and people get very angry, which is quite funny. It's not funny when you're trying to do the research. It makes it quite annoying, but yeah. If they adjust definitions, it's because they need it to work for their paper to work. Yeah. That's how it works sometimes. That's definitely how it works sometimes. Grown cress in cotton wool. Yeah, cotton wool. That was another one. You're right. Inside a hollowed out eggshell. Yes. Yes. Glad we have you. Thank you, Mentalist. I'm just here yapping though, let's be honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm also teaching about something. Maybe I'm spreading some kind of interesting information. That's what I aim for, is to be at least somewhat informative about stuff and things, but oh no. I haven't actually answered any questions yet, and we're what? An hour 46 in, so that's good. That's probably a new record. Okay, we have quite a few questions actually. Wait. I can't remember which ones of these I've answered. That's the problem. So I'm gonna pick one at random and then just go from there, I think. I'd say misinformation is intentional. If it's unintentional, you were just wrong. See, interesting take, Jigstraw, but that is not how we define it, okay? So the way that we would generally define misinformation is that it is information that doesn't align with expert consensus, okay? Like I said, there is still like power dynamics implied in that, right? Because that's the definition is like, you know, just straight up saying like, there are people who are experts who have the power to make decisions about what is correct, okay? Putting that aside, because that's a whole like epistemological debate that we're not going to go into, okay? We're not going into that. That's a thing. But like, if we just assume that that's true, then we would actually separate out misinformation and disinformation based on sharing intentions. So misinformation would actually be information that's wrong according to the expert consensus, regardless of why they're sharing it. Like, they're just saying it, they're just repeating it. Disinformation would be where it's being shared intentionally. So disinformation is like something that you know actively is wrong and you are still putting it out there for a reason. Okay, normally it's like, maybe it's like propaganda, for example. Sometimes it's propaganda, sometimes it's like for chaos. Sometimes you just love the chaos. But yeah, that's the differentiation normally that I see in the literature, and the one that I've also personally been going off is that like disinformation is false information shared intentionally to spread incorrect information about something. Misinformation is shared by accident generally. Yeah. So like all disinformation is also misinformation, but not all misinformation is disinformation. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. Best conference public fight stories. I think once I saw two people get very, very heated about like the nature of conspiracy theory beliefs, and that was quite funny. But like, I think if I say more than that, then it's probably going to get into like not necessarily doxable territory for me, but like for them, if that makes sense. But like, I will say that like they had a really, really heated debate, and it was really funny and really interesting. Like, I felt tension, I felt stress, and then like afterwards they went out and like had dinner and they became besties, and then they wrote a paper together. So that was good. I think they were actually friends already. And they just have very, very strong opinions. I know it's not a hard science to having humans as subjects, but it can be a little harder than 15 scientists and 15 definitions for the same turn. Yeah, it's probably because of the fact that there is so much situational nuance around what we're studying is the reason why there's so many changeable definitions. Like, I feel like those two things must be related in some way, because like, you know, like for example, I don't know, like gravity, maybe, I don't know, like gravity, you can kind of say the same thing in a multiple different ways, but they all say the same thing. Whereas like with concepts in social psychology, because you can't tangibly observe them a lot of the time, like you kind of have to apply statistical models to identify latent variables, like hidden underlying patterns in mess, basically. um, it means that, yeah, there is a lot of situational variability, and I think sometimes definitions get, how can I describe this? I think they get a bit muddied by that situational context, and probably also like there's overlaps between various concepts and constructs, and it's quite hard to differentiate them out. And sometimes that is situational context, but sometimes it's like there's a third variable that's kind of like affecting both of them. Sometimes it's like it looks like two separate things under certain conditions, but then actually it's all one and the same phenomenon. So yeah, it's messy. It's messy. 0 QPM. Don't do me dirty like this, Astro. We're doing great. I swear. We're answering questions. It's just the ones in chat instead of the ones in the Q&A form, you know. We'll get there eventually, you know, maybe. I don't know. Look, I know it was buy one, get one free and a family member needed one, but how did I feel about getting a body pillow on Valentine's Day? I say that they're actually quite good for like support if you have an injury. That's my opinion. Like okay, I don't know if any of you knew this, but like body pillows are actually really, really common for people to use in pregnancy. So like a lot of pregnant women will use them because they are just good supportive things for the entire body. Yeah. And if you have an injury, that too. I'm gonna spread some disinformation. Please don't, Woodsticks. If you do, then I will have to research you. Like, you will actually just get pulled into the next study whether you want to or not. Yeah. That explanation made sense. Thanks for the correction. Okay, I'm glad, because sometimes, like, I feel like I don't know. I've been reading back through my thesis introduction at the minute, right? And I feel like I am just, like, when I was writing it, and even a little bit now, I was just, like, so lost in what I was doing that I'm just confused and I don't even understand anymore, you know? Like, I don't know what's going on. So, yeah. I'm confused. I don't understand. I have fear. And I feel like that comes across when I'm trying to explain things sometimes as well. Yeah. Sorry though. I didn't mean to actually you. But I hope we've learned something today. There's a difference between misinformation and disinformation. And also those are different from conspiracy theories. But that's also another rabbit hole that we can go into if you want to. If you're interested, I can talk about that for days. From my perspective, is that people who get emotional for anything others do doesn't follow their understood method to convey their reasoning. Yeah, I think that can definitely, like, there can definitely be some crossed wires in terms of that, right? Like, I mean, the thing that I always remember is that in like neurodiversity research, there's this concept of like the double empathy problem. And like basically the idea is that the way that autistic people process information and social cues is kind of just like just different from the way that neurotypical people do. And obviously there's like a spectrum there. Like, you know, there's a lot of variation. This is a massive simplification. But like if someone has like a quite strongly autistic style way of communicating and someone else has a neurotypical way of communicating, then they kind of like end up clashing by accident. So because they just don't share the same cues. So it's kind of like how, I don't know if you've ever had an experience of like talking to somebody from a different culture and like the way that their body language is and the kind of language that they're using, it's just like it doesn't quite click and like there's misunderstandings. It's the same thing basically. They're saying it's the same thing. Because like traditionally autistic people were said to have like a quote unquote empathy deficit, which is not true. Like we're increasingly learning that that's not true. I mean, I would just tell you that's obvious. I have a lot of empathy. Thank you very much. It's just kind of different. But yeah, like the way that autistic people express it and experience it is very different from how neurotypical people do. And it almost creates like a culture barrier. So if you get two autistic people in a room and they like talking and, you know, they're doing their thing, there'll be like almost no communication barriers. And when they come across them, like they just resolve them. And likewise, they find it really easy to empathize with each other. When you get two neurotypical people in the room, same thing. No issues with communication, no issues with empathizing. When you get an autistic person and a neurotypical person in the room and get them to do this exactly the same thing, suddenly there's a barrier. And it goes both ways. Like there's difficulties in both directions. And I remember reading a study about this. It was super, super interesting. Super interesting. Somebody did an experimental test of it. Really, really cool. The reverse of the double empathy problem seems to just be most friends probably being neurodivergent too. Because they click better. Honestly, yeah, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if that is true. Like, it kind of reminds me of how you know, like how like expat communities, like migrant communities in various cultures, like if you move somewhere that's quite different, often there'll be like a, you know, like a community of people from a similar culture that will kind of like group together. So like, you know, like English speaking people in Japan, for example, will kind of end up being friends. And it's the same thing. Like I think it's probably the same thing. Like you just kind of cluster with people that you find it easy to communicate with and you don't have those barriers with. Yeah, and also that you share identities with also, even if you don't realize it. If I say Psydere can cook without knowing it's false, it's misinformation. If I say that you tried battery acid cupcakes, it's disinformation. Exactly. Look, I gotta say, the battery acid cupcakes in general were also just very good in terms of like throwing people off the scent. You know, it was just a very fun little prank. Hopefully they didn't get aluminium poisoning. I know that they didn't because I checked, but you know. It's like the story would have taken a very dark turn if they would all got ill, you know. That would not have been ideal. Culture, ideology, proverbs, these are the things that divide us. Yes, but they also can bring us together. And they can also be overcome. The divisions can be overcome. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The divisions can be overcome, and we have a very strong evidence base about how to do it. It's just, it's quite difficult to get people to do it. Has the Asperger's diagnosis been integrated into autism, or have I misunderstood that whole thing? It feels like I hear less of the former nowadays. Yeah, it has been. Everything got kind of collapsed. I think it was first the ICD did it, and then the DSM followed up with the same thing. But yeah, everything's been collapsed into autism spectrum condition now. Because yeah, basically they realized, hang on, this is a very there's a lot of heterogeneity. There we go. Heterogeneous, that's the word. There's a lot of different ways that this can be presenting, and we need to account for that. And also, I think also Asperger's as a person was a little bit problematic or something. I don't know the details of that though. Yeah. In Sweden, it's called high functioning autism. Yeah, that's also kind of not as much of a thing. Like the functioning labels, they're not really as much of a thing anymore either, because yeah, it's kind of like a bit stigmatizing to have some people be labeled high functioning and other people be labeled low functioning. Because like, first of all, the people that are labeled low functioning, it's kind of just outright saying like they're not as good at humaning as the rest of us, which isn't it's not a great look. Because obviously they're just doing it in their own way. They just need a little bit of extra support to go about their day-to-day life. But also for the people that are labeled quote unquote high functioning, like it can be really difficult for them to get support sometimes. Because basically I have experience of this too, by the way. They would just go in to like talk to a medical professional or whatever, and then they'll be like, yeah, I've got a diagnosis of high functioning autism. And then the other person will be like, okay, so you don't need any help then. And they'll be like, no, wait, I do need help. And they'll be like, no, because you're high functioning, so you don't need it. And then that's the end of that. So yeah, that doesn't help people. So they've kind of like stopped doing that now. I know that there's I think the DSM has like levels or something. I'm not sure. I don't know much about the DSM, to be honest. I know more about the ICD. And the shift in the UK and Ireland is very much more towards like individualized learning plans now, or like individual support plans. So yeah, it's like less of the kind of grouping things together and more of the tailored individual support. Yes. Yes. If they're masking well enough, they basically get treated as higher than high functioning. Exactly. Yeah. And that's not ideal because like basically with any kind of neurodivergence, people have like very variable skills profiles, they would call it. That's the like clinical terms, like variable skills profiles. But like basically they might be really, really good at some things, but then need a lot of support to do other things. So like in my case, like I do really, really well at like frankly, I do really well at my work as long as I can work from home. But like my sensory problems can be a bit of an issue sometimes. Like if I have to go to an office, I get really, really, really tired. And then like, well, not just tired, I just get overwhelmed generally. I just struggle with it a bit. And then in terms of like socializing, very much depends on the people that I'm socializing with, you know? Like if it's people that I know and trust and they're not a problem, like in terms of being judgmental or whatever, then no issue. If it's like I'm going out to like a business event and I'm meeting people for the first time, oh no. I struggle. I struggle. Because basically, like I don't think I'm that different on stream, to be honest, than I am in real life. And people can be a little bit like, oh, this one's a strange one. Oh dear. And I'm not very good at the whole like eye contact and normal body language and stuff like that. So yeah. So basically, if you meet me online first, I seem like a fairly functional person. And then you meet me in person and then you're like, oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I know some autistic people with quite severe cognitive developmental impairments. Would those two be considered separate and just comorbidities, or can that affect some types of autism? Cognitive impairments would generally be considered a separate thing. So they'd normally come under like a learning disability or something like that, or learning development thing. I forgot what the word is. That's not ideal. But yeah, that'd be separate. Because like someone can be autistic and not have any learning impairments. Other people can be autistic and literally have the opposite. So like, for example, when I was younger, I was hyperlexic, which meant that I learned to read like way earlier than everyone else and like at a much higher level than everyone else. But like people can also be autistic comorbid with dyslexia, which is obviously struggling to read. So yeah, it varies. Lots of things happening. Time for me to drop the smoke bomb and go back to studying. I hope you have fun with the rest of the stream and the rest of your day is awesome. I'll follow up with a nailer thing later. Thank you, Bushy. Thank you for joining us. Good luck with your studying. You can do it. You can do it. We're cheering you on. If you're doing case studies again, I hope the cases go well. And if you're not, then I hope whatever you're doing goes well. You can do it. You can do it. We're cheering you on. We're cheering you on. She described it almost as if in the DSM-5, while Asperger gave it a more stereotypical view. Oh, yeah. Sakuraba, yeah. See, I don't actually know anything. I've heard of her, but I don't know anything about like what she described actually, which is quite bad. Yeah. I feel like I need to look into like the history of it a bit more. Like generally I'm very just a bit oblivious really to history stuff. I'm not great at history stuff. Wait, actually, it's not that I'm not great at it. I'm fine at it when I actually bother to learn it. But it's like, it's the kind of thing that I don't think to seek out, you know? It's not in my like hyperfixation zone, so I forget about it, you know? Yeah. My psychotherapist thinks I'm autistic too. Yeah, I think there's a lot more awareness, right? There's a lot more awareness. So therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists are becoming a lot more like open to the idea that people might be undiagnosed and autistic. Yeah. Because like if depending on your age as well and like, you know, like your gender and stuff like that, like a lot of people slip through the net, you know? Yeah. I mean, I didn't get diagnosed until I was like 20, 21, I think. 21, something like that. 22, around that age. So, yeah. But like I was well into uni by the time that I got diagnosed. So, yeah. You might probably click very well with chat because they self-select into already having vibed with your communication style. Yeah. Yeah. We've had like a running joke that like a big chunk of like a big chunk of viewers are neurodivergent STEM nerds. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it is like if it's genuinely a thing, and also if it is like, you know, a self-selection thing. It could well be. It could well be. No, nothing's weird to ask. I like answering questions. Yeah. Yeah. No such thing as a weird question, I think. Unless it's like, you know, a weird question would be like personal, if that makes sense. Like a really, really personal one. Like if it's like psychology related, it's not a weird question. Yeah. Yeah. Hi Grendel, how are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're well. What diagnosis did you get in uni? Autism. I was diagnosed with the autism. Yeah. There was a meme going around on Twitter the other day that was like, when you get the VTuber autism instead of the maths or science autism. And I was like, I got both. I got both. What does it mean? Now I do science as an anime girl. Oh no. Does that mean that I got mega autism? I need to know. As long as it's within the rules. Exactly. As long as the question is within the rules and it's not like really, really, really personal, then it's fine. Yeah. And like, I would just say if it's too personal also. Like, if it's a weird question, I just would not answer it. Or like, I'd either ignore it or if there's like, yeah, if chat's not going too fast, then I would just tell you it's a weird question, to be fair. I'm not very good at hiding it. Min-max autism, so true. Literally me. Literally me. Same here. Yes, gang. I'm a pro masker. Only got the papers way later in life. Yeah, no, mine was in uni. So it was quite a funny story actually. Basically, because obviously I was studying psychology and I went in to do an experiment and then they were like, okay, we're screening out anyone that's like neurodivergent. Actually, no, it was a social psychology experiment and they were specifically screening out autistic people. So I had to do like an autism questionnaire. Yeah, I had to do an autism questionnaire before I did the study. And then basically they came back to me and they were like, we're really sorry, you can't take part in this study. Also, you should go talk to your doctor. And I was like, okay. Yeah, and then I went and I got put on a referral and then I got put on a waiting list and then I got sent to a strange place in the middle of nowhere and then I got the autism. Yeah. Fun times. Give me the questionnaire. You know what? I think the autism quotient questionnaire is actually public domain, so we might be able to. It is. I just remembered. One of the first ever Rin Penrose videos I saw was Rin Penrose doing the autism quotient. Okay, maybe we should do it on stream one day, and I can talk about it. Actually, yeah. Yeah. Here's an autism related thing I experienced and I'd like your thoughts on regarding psychology. I struggled to understand the concept of validity, which is thrown around in therapy talk and even in VTuber circles. I think I have an understanding of it now, but it's still very difficult. As in, this opinion is valid or your feeling is valid. Okay, so like, yeah, so like you don't understand what it means. Honestly, I kind of get that. Yeah, I kind of get that. Because it is quite vague, isn't it? I think so. Like the general concept of validity is like whether something measures the thing that you said it's meant to be measuring, right? Or like if it aligns with the actual construct. So I guess it's a way of people's way of saying like because it's normally like, oh, your experience is valid, right? So I guess it's like a way of saying that your experience aligns with reality, I think. I don't know. I've started saying it too, and I don't even know why. Like, I've just picked it up as like a tick. I just picked it up as a tick. It's really bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. I honestly like I'm one of those people where I would just repeat back things that I hear. Like it was very bad actually. During I'm not okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Yeah, once I started going down the neuro rabbit hole, I started being like, wow, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Literally all the time. I had to train myself out of it because obviously as a psychologist, I'm not meant to say that anything is crazy because that's like stigmatizing mental health and it's not good. So yeah, I had to train myself out of that because I picked it up too much. Yeah. Please don't tell my ethics board this. It's fine though, because I've got it out of my vocabulary somewhat, mostly now. That's crazy. Yeah. 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 I think there's a level of masking questionnaire too. That sounds interesting. That'd be fun to do as well. Did it make sense to you when you first got told you could have autism, or were you skeptical? No, it made sense. It made sense. It was like one of those things where like I was just like, oh yeah, that adds up. That adds up. Because like obviously I already knew what autism was from my degree. Like we'd done a whole module on like developmental differences, or like half a module I think it was on developmental differences. So I already knew about autism. And like when I was doing those lectures, I was like, that's just like me for real, for real. But I don't have a diagnosis, so it can't be me for real, you know? And then I went to the doctor and then it was me for real. So yeah. 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 I thought it was like you were allowed to hold that view. It could well be, actually. It could well be. My law background might be messing with me since something being valid in legal terms is very specific. I think it might be related to self-acceptance and the idea that it's okay to think something. A certain indifference to perception would have messed with my understandings of it. Yeah. Yeah, I have the same thing because it means something very specific in science too. And like, especially in like psychometrics, which is something that I have been trained on to some extent. So yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. Did you read about it and go, that seems familiar? I experienced that before. A little bit, yeah. A little bit. It kind of, I think like the things that I'd read about like repetitive behavior in terms of like repeating things back and like, you know, getting stuck on hyperfixations and stuff like that. That all of that very much like vibed with me, but then like the explanations of the social stuff at the time didn't, because it was still very much like there is a deficit in communication, blah 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 blah. Whereas my experience was more like I could function, but I never could work out like I could never work out where I fit in a social situation, if that makes sense. So like I would be like in a group of people. I never had a problem like finding a group of people, but I would not really know what to do once I was there, if that made sense. And like I'd rely on like scripts and rules and stuff like that. And back then, none of this was like really reflected in what was how autism was described. It was very much just like they stack blocks and they build Legos and they stare at the washing machine while it's running, which I did, by the way, and it still didn't get picked up, but you know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. VTubers doing autism tests and discovering new things about themselves is always content. That's very true. Mine wouldn't be discovering new things, though. I already knew it. My score was pretty high as well when I did it, like concerningly high. But yeah, I'd probably just end up talking about the psychometrics and like how the different questions on it are like constructed and how they might be biased and stuff like that. Because that's fun. I like doing that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie. I've been yapping. I didn't actually, once again, I haven't actually ended up answering any questions. Classic. Thank you for the follow for that is. Thank you for the follow. And thank you again for the raid earlier as well, actually. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for bringing your community over. But yeah, I think it's time to like wrap up. I'm not going to lie. It's quite late. It's like, it's almost like 11:30 here, and I want to like drink some tea and eat some popcorn and watch some anime, you know, before I go to bed. So, so I think that that's probably the plan, is that we're gonna go and find somewhere to go now. And when I say that, I mean I'm gonna spend another probably like 2 minutes talking, non-specifically, as I try to work out where on earth we actually are going, because I don't know. I don't know how people just like find someone to raid. Like they just know in advance who they're gonna raid. That's kind of wild to me. Can't relate. Not very good at that. Oh, I know where we're going. Okay. I know where we're going. I know where we're going. Okay. So here's the plan. Right. So here's the plan. 0 QPM Queen. We answered questions. They were just the questions in chat instead of the ones in the form. That still counts. That still counts. Okay. Wait, let me do this. There's the raid message one. There's the raid message other one. There you go. You can choose. You can choose your preference, you know. So yes, I think I'm done with the yapping. I want to wrap up. I want to go make some more tea and eat some popcorn and watch some anime. So that's the plan. I hope that you have an equally enjoyable rest of your day or evening or whatever. But yes, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for yapping with me. Anime, yes. Probably, I don't know if you know the one that I mean, but like I've been meaning to watch the one that's basically just like Dr. House, but an anime girl. Because like that's relatable. I wanted to be a medical doctor when I was younger, but I wasn't socially adept enough. Yeah. Yeah, I had the bedside manner of an actual sponge. Terrible. We're gonna raid Rin Penrose. No, we're not raiding Rin Penrose. I can't raid myself. That's impossible. How am I meant to raid Rin Penrose? Honestly. What do you think I'm going to do? Play Pikmin? As though I haven't been playing Pikmin this whole time. Oh, no. No, we're going to go and raid another scientist VTuber. That's what we're doing. We're going to raid another scientist VTuber who is also a scientist in real life, which is very, very exciting. It looks like they're currently doing some art. So we're going to be nice and polite to them because I don't actually know this person yet, okay? So please be cool and normal because if you're not, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. But yes, we're going to go and raid Nico Plasma Nico, who is fairly new. I think they've just started streaming fairly recently, actually. But yeah, I don't know Nico, but we're going to go and meet Nico. Seems nice enough. Let's go. Currently on 7 viewers. Let's go and terrify them. Let's do it. I enjoy supporting small streamers, especially when I can see a funny reaction, because there aren't many that are that much smaller than me, so I want to make the most of it, at least not that I know. Everybody that I know has kind of grown at a similar rate, so everyone's kind of at similar numbers to me, you know. Every now and then I want to, like, scare people. I'm saying that as though I wouldn't absolutely freak out if I had a massively larger raid. Actually, though, that's happened once and it did happen and I got very scared and I didn't like it. But no, I did like it. I did like it, but it was scary. Yeah. Whee! Twitch etiquette. I don't understand it. What was that about autism? Am I right? Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm yapping. Speed yapping. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I still don't understand social norms even when it's on the internet. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, the thing will stay up if you want to put in more questions. Don't know when the next stream will be. Sometime in the future. Hopefully I'll see you there. I'm running out of time. Bye.